at the track with the official track talk.
And it's cold. It's cold. Hey, man.
A little bit.
I've got long johns underneath here. I'm layered. Always representing Garcia Boxing.
It's a little bit. We show the sun, but as we're impartial, we also show the overcast in Santa Monica.
And it was sprinkling. It was raining a little bit. And on this track is Chris the Heat Van Heerden.
That's right. Chris is
getting his laps in. So that's what it takes.
We'll show him when he comes around.
Yeah. That's what it takes in boxing.
So
but taking off to New York City. So I got my New York City hat.
Are you staying for both fights?
I'm not. I wish I could. I wish, you know what, had these back-to-back cards. So this Saturday, June 1st, it's Anthony Joshua's U.S. debut at Madison Square Garden. He's fighting Andy Ruiz. 1 week later, the return to Triple G, Gennady Golovkin takes on Steve Rolls at 164 pounds.
164 pounds. Yeah, that's
cool.
Two big shows back to back at Madison Square Garden.
At Madison Square Garden. Yeah. Okay, answer me this, Tom. When does that happen?
There he goes. Hey, Chris.
Go, Chris.
Wave, Chris.
Chris Van Heerden training for his fight. Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
Chris puts the laps
real
in,
good. No,
he does.
Good,
yeah.
Puts the heat on the track.
He does.
So
he brings the heat on the track
and
in the ring.
Yeah.
Josh Kelly's fighting in that same.
So we got Coach Dave is back in action.
Yeah.
Coach was at the graduation last week.
I was
at Chapman College.
What a great, unbelievable.
Who's the most famous alumni to come out of Chapman College?
Do you know?
I do. Last week I forgot. Already.
I forgot already too. You told us, and I forgot as well.
My hero in life, Pete Rozelle.
Oh, Pete Rozelle. Okay.
What a story that is.
Right.
He was the NFL commissioner for those that don't know.
He was, but he started out as a water boy because the Rams used to work out at Chapman College.
Oh, okay.
On the preseason.
The LA Rams.
And he was
the original LA Rams.
And he used to just hang out, and they gave him something to do and something else, and from there to become the commissioner.
That's how
but
it should
a real commissioner.
Right.
That's
how it should be.
That's a big step, and we got Samir. Is here.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
What's the latest, Samir, on your side?
The latest, well, you know, I'm still under huge impression from the last week's Hollywood Fight Nights.
Oh, that's right. You were at the Fight Nights.
Samir was there.
Coach was at the Fight Nights.
I was there. I loved it.
Doug was commentating at the Fight Nights.
Commentary with the Flushing Flash, Kevin Kelly, and the hostess with the mostest, Cynthia Conte, and Boachuk. And a good shot. You know what? I know it was kind of a bummer that Bezik's opponent dropped out, and then Christian Robles, his opponent, came in heavy, and so that they couldn't make that fight.
And Devon Lee got injured. So,
yeah, that's right. He was originally supposed to be on there, but you know what? Those guys can come back on the next show.
Yep.
That's the great thing about a club show series in the same venue. But it was kind of fun with just 4 fights.
Yeah,
we saw some good knockouts, and Boachuk, man,
I think that was the most vicious fight so far.
What did you
he gets
think?
better and better.
Samir, what did you think about Boachuk's performance?
This was crazy. I haven't seen so much blood at the Hollywood Fight Nights since its inception, but it was great. You know how Steve Kim said he's a two-arm puncher or something like that. You know, he has all the styles.
And body shots and head shots, right?
Body shots, I was really impressed with. He's got a good inside game. He can work uppercuts from either side, but he's also got a really good jab and somewhat, I don't want to say awkward, but it's kind of like an unorthodox rhythm, and it's sort of somewhat unorthodox style. Like his technique, it's different, and I think that throws off even veteran boxers like Freddie Hernandez or folks that might be considered.
Freddie Hernandez just went the distance with Jason Quigley.
He did at middleweight. And prior to that with Wally Omatoso.
That's right.
Yeah.
Two world-class fighters.
Yeah, 2 big guys, strong, athletic dudes, and he was competitive in those fights. And he wasn't able to compete with Boachuk. In fact, Boachuk beat him down so decisively he retired in the ring.
Dave, what did you think? You're expert on the local LA boxing scene.
Oh, I thought it was a great fight.
Dave was in the VIP section, sitting ringside, sitting right behind Max Golovkin and Marat Garcia.
Oh, boxing celebrity.
And Ali Akhmedov
the coach is a boxing celebrity.
No, they were sitting in front of me.
Oh.
So, there's no chance Freddie Hernandez is retired.
Yeah.
I guarantee you within 6 months. But I tell you, I mean,
I felt bad. He announced his retirement. It's the first time I've had a fighter announce a retirement in the ring. He put up a good effort,
He
and
did.
he's
He
a
did.
solid,
No, he was
solid
good.
He was
veteran.
in with the. He was in with
And he
the,
looks good.
a
I mean,
real
really looks
prospect.
good.
He actually he does. He looked at the weigh-in, looked very in
Yeah.
shape and
Yeah,
clean
and he,
cut.
and he also talks real well.
He does.
He
Yeah.
talked good.
His English is decent too.
No, he was good. It was so the whole night was great. It's sort of weird how the time before there were 9 fights.
No, I still
That's
had
right.
nightmares.
Steve Kim was complaining about.
Oh,
9
Steve
fights.
was not happy, but he
missed
was
out.
happy, but at least by Steve Kim standards after
Game of Thrones.
this past Sunday show.
Oh yeah, and it was a Game
That's
of Thrones.
right, yeah.
Not even
He
season,
skipped that. And he
series,
and Mario watched that
series
show, and
finale. Yeah.
he DVR'd that for you, Tom, for Hollywood.
So I was up in Big Bear for the DAZN filming. For the
They do a
training
good job
camp.
with
They
those
do,
shows.
40 days.
40 days, right? I was
40
going to
days.
ask, is it one of those productions?
Yes,
A 40
it's
oh,
one of those
good.
productions. I was up there for 3 days. Triple G is up there training hard with Ali Akhmedov. Ali's the featured fighter on the show. He's actually going to fight Marcus McDaniel, 2 undefeated fighters. Actually, I don't think that's officially been released yet. So we're doing a official Track Talk
All
release.
right, we're breaking news.
Coach,
Wow.
breaking
That's
news.
big time.
2 undefeated fighters. Ali is 14-0. You've seen him a number of times.
Yes, I have.
And Marcus McDaniel from New Orleans is 15-0.
All right,
So
watch out.
these are the type of fights
People
when you're
from New
fighting,
Orleans are badasses.
when you're fighting at Madison Square Garden, you
Yeah.
need to be in a competitive fight.
Absolutely.
And so Ali naturally is with Triple G Promotions.
The ghost of Teddy Brenner presides over that
There you
arena.
go.
It's like, you better.
Did you
Matchmaking
guys
better be
ever
tough.
meet Teddy Brennan?
No.
Who's Teddy Brenner?
You know,
He's a legendary matchmaker who was
Yeah.
in charge of the boxing program at Madison Square Garden during the glory years.
and if you
glory
didn't,
decades.
if you didn't put out, you never fought.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
exactly
if
right.
You
You
didn't, if you didn't
can't-
have an exciting fight,
weren't allowed to-
you didn't get back in.
You weren't allowed to stink it out. That's exactly right. But he was known for putting guys in tough, including great fighters. Like Muhammad Ali's first gut check was against a guy named Doug Jones. This is back when he was Cassius Clay. And Doug Jones did enough to win in the view of some of the ringside press. And they never had a rematch either. Doug Jones was a real tough light heavyweight / small heavyweight, and
Real
Cassius Clay was still
That was
developing,
that was
still
one of his up and
growing
coming
up.
fights.
Right. And then the great Salvador Sanchez, his last fight was against a future champion in a dude from Ghana, the African dude, Azuma Nelson, the professor. But Azuma Nelson was like 13-0, 14-0, totally unknown. So Salvador Sanchez, arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest Mexican boxer ever. I mean, they may have overlooked him, but they had a hell of a fight. And it went 15 rounds, and Sanchez stops him in the final round. But those are like
The great Salvador.
those are like Teddy Brenner specials.
Great Salvador Sanchez.
And who did Salvador win the title from?
Little Red Lopez,
Right.
Danny Little Red Lopez,
And
fought him
what-
back to back.
Yeah.
Samir was up in Triple G's training camp a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was I think last Tuesday, the Tuesday before.
So he has a professional chef
Yeah,
now. He has a strength and
I
conditioning
think
coach.
Samir is Gennady Golovkin's best interpreter, though.
That's
No
Oh,
offense
you
to
like-
the old guy. No offense to the old guy. He's
Thanks,
I know.
Samir
I know
gets
it's
a lot
not
of-
an easy job.
Samir gets a lot of social media reaction.
Right. Do people still think you're his cousin or
It's
something
animated.
like that?
Could be his
Animated.
brother.
Yeah, his little brother.
Could be.
So Samir's in front of the camera at this time. Yeah.
And
So
Samir lost 17 pounds.
Yeah.
Look how slick,
I
look how
like
slick
how
he looks.
But yeah, it feels really great to be in shape. So, but when,
that's all the laps we do on the track,
That's
right?
all the laps, yeah.
Everyone that doesn't
Finally,
think
that's
that
something
we
up.
that we
Yeah.
train.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have your NYPD.
Yeah, and then I got my.
And you got your. That's one of the original.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Triple G.
I'll be bringing this to New York. I'll be representing.
So June 8th on DAZN live at Madison Square Garden. The return of the big drama show. That's how we're billing it. We're actually having a media day on Tuesday, which I think you might be invited to.
Right.
No, it'll be here in Los Angeles. It's not open to the public, but it's a media day, and so you'll get to see Triple G with Jonathan Banks,
Right.
and also Ali Akhmedov is going to be there training with Jonathan Banks. So-
And I enjoy just listening to Jonathan Banks when he's interviewed. All the different interviews that he does, whether it's with writers or like YouTube videographers or professional documentarians, like
Very well
I'm sure
spoken.
he's sitting down with the 40 Days people with his own.
Yeah.
But I love hearing him talk about boxing, not just how he's working out with Gennady Golovkin, because he's just he's smart. You know,
he came from the Emmanuel. He actually lived in one of Emmanuel's houses in Detroit. Came up through the Kronk Gym. You know, Emmanuel was very well spoken, and Jonathan is kind of like with all the Klitschko fights, all the interviews in Germany, he's really done well with that.
Yeah.
Harold Parker is a strength and conditioning coach. You know Harold. He comes down to the track sometimes.
Yeah.
And James Lockwood has been doing all the food prep and everything, so he's looking in good.
Triple G's got a good team.
Good. He's looking in good
And
shape.
those are all
He's
bright
ready,
guys.
He's ready to rock and roll against Steve Rolls, right, Coach? And then who else? So Steve is from Toronto.
Yeah.
If you've been following the NBA, which a lot of times you don't.
Speaking of good interviews, Steve Rolls is
he's
a really
excellent.
good interview.
he
I heard
presents
him on
himself very well.
the Great Fight North podcast.
You know,
Right.
he reminds
was
me
really
of
good.
Billy Monroe Jr.
Yeah.
He sort of
Yeah.
looked alike.
Similar
He's
characteristics.
taller. Yeah, but
Yeah, but Steve Rolls from Toronto, Canada, and the Toronto Raptors are going to the NBA Finals now.
oh yeah.
Yeah, against the
Did you know that?
Golden
Doug?
State Warriors.
I did. I've seen.
They just-
I can't
they just
escape
won.
it. I can't.
So we don't have too much
I
time.
try
have
to escape it.
I have to cut out pretty soon today, but we can talk about some of the fights. Jamel Herring, someone just wrote in. Jamel Herring had a big win Memorial Day
did.
weekend. He's a veteran.
I was surprised
And,
to learn that he was that Ito was a 2-1
Ito
favorite.
was a 2-1 favorite.
because-
That was
Yeah.
in full disclosure, just like we disclosed when the weather is not so great in Santa Monica. That was one of JP's picks that didn't turn out.
Can't win them all.
He was Ito was a 2-1 favorite. He's with Mr. Honda, and it doesn't seem like.
Well, the thing
that
is,
style
JP
fits.
has dubbed 2019 the year of the upset in boxing.
There were a few,
and I'm
yeah.
surprised he didn't go
Yeah.
with the underdog in this matchup. Just given the weekend, Memorial Day weekend, Herring being a veteran and Herring's story, and then being
I don't
in-
think
in-
Herring could beat him
Florida.
again.
Yeah, I agree with
I
Coach
wasn't that
thinks it was a
familiar
lot
with-
closer fight.
I
than,
thought
I wasn't that familiar with Ito going into it, but I mean it was competitive.
raw.
It was a
weird.
competitive fight.
The
yeah.
commentators kept talking about him like he had
His
this
right
one
hand.
punch power, like he was all about landing this one big right hand. And I know he scored a knockdown against Christopher Diaz, but he's not Julian Jackson. It was I don't. I'll say this. I thought it was a lot more competitive than the ESPN commentators made it sound. I'll say that.
I saw Jessica McCaskill. She had an entertaining fight.
Yeah,
I
I,
think
haven't
the
seen that fight yet, but I
scores were
heard
a
it's
little
like
bit-
women's fight of the year.
A little bit wide on that, but
Yeah.
but she won. I thought that she
The
won. And
scorecard's too wide on that fight, at least judging by the DAZN commentators' reaction.
That's
and
one that,
scorecard's too wide on Ito Herring.
on Ito.
Yeah.
JP did pick McCaskill, so he was right
Smart.
on that one. And someone was asking.
Hey, how about Devin Haney?
Yeah, someone
Devin
was just
Haney,
asking
y'all.
about Devin Haney.
He's
Yeah.
20, maybe just turned 21. But wait, he
Looks
right
good.
to the body and then boom!
And the great thing
caught
about-
this dude on the side. Dude went down like it was scary.
The smart thing about Devin Haney, right, Coach?
He's gonna get
a great,
stronger.
great self promoter.
him. Yeah.
Sells tickets.
Yeah.
Does great on social media. That's important, right, Simmer? Of all these up and coming fighters
Social media is the most important thing.
to
right now.
distinguish yourself. You can fight great in the ring,
Yeah.
right, Doug? You know that. You can be a great fighter in the ring, but if you don't sell tickets, if you don't attract TV
You
viewers,
got to put butts in seats. You do got to
Right.
let people
That's
know you're
enough.
out there. You just don't want to go overboard with it. Like
Right.
sometimes I've thought that lightweight prospect / contender Ryan Garcia has overdone it on the social media end, but he's already got a dedicated fan base, and like Devin Haney, he's like 21 years old.
and
I mean, he's
Trout,
a kid.
Austin Trout fought last night.
Now that was a draw, I heard. I haven't seen. I didn't.
Someone
watch
asked
the
about it.
fight.
Jacob asked about it.
And on my Twitter timeline, because I was watching other boxing, on my Twitter timeline, people were saying
Bernie's
like he
watching.
was
He'll
getting beat up.
be able to tell us.
Yeah.
Michael Hunter had a nice win.
I saw
yesterday.
that. I saw that. Yeah, I was watching the DAZN stream.
We did the remember we did the Usyk fight
Yeah,
against
in
Michael
Washington.
Hunter at that same venue.
Hunter, at least in the opinion of the hardcore boxing fan, Hunter overperformed in that,
Right.
and people thought Usyk underperformed.
Right.
But it turns out he's a hell of a fighter.
No,
I mean, he's
Michael
a U.S.
Hunter,
Olympian.
and Michael Hunter's been to a lot
Comes
of the
from a boxing
Hollywood
family.
fight nights. He comes.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He comes to Hollywood shows and.
Definitely, he's
but
a
he had
small
ni-
heavyweight.
nice win.
Doesn't look like he's in great shape as a heavyweight. Looks like there's a little bit of excess body fat, but he can fight. He brings it. He's entertaining. So
Yeah.
I like watching him. Hunter.
Speaking
He's
of,
an Eddie Hearn guy.
Excess, body fat. What do you think about Ruiz?
Ruiz,
Because
you
he's
can't
so-
help it.
Yeah, we got to
He's
talk
so
about
fast.
the Joshua
It's
fight
crazy,
coming
right?
up.
You're right, man.
That's next week.
I think he's gonna bring it. I
Yeah.
mean, he might get knocked out by the mid rounds or whatever, but I've never seen him hurt.
Is he going to put on
I've
a
seen
better?
him get hit with good shots.
Is he going to go longer than Dominic
He moves
Brazil?
just like, and then
Yes, he will
What's the
definitely. He'll
over-under?
get out of the opening round.
Coach, what's your prediction? Is he going to go longer than Brazil
I
against
say
Wilder?
about 7.5 rounds.
There, I like
7.5
that.
rounds?
I like that, and I think they'll be entertaining.
Ruiz is
You're
good.
going with that, Doug?
I like his combinations. I like how he goes to the body.
And he's an entertaining guy. He's got fast hands.
Yeah.
does.
Now, it's easy to underestimate him because he's got this boyish pie face, right? And then he's flabby, you know.
And he's light on his feet.
He is. He's got, I like his balance too.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
glad
he's
you
good.
brought that up.
I like him.
Yeah, you've watched him fight. Yeah,
I've seen him
I
fight.
think the fight will go 12 rounds.
you've watched him and paid attention. If you're paying attention to his footwork, you're paying attention, coach. That's why you're the coach. Coaches have that
Footwork
eye.
on the track.
Yeah.
So I got to wrap up. I actually have to run out this morning, but you're going to do the popular segment of Coach. You got your
Wait,
questions
should
ready?
we show him how good you look today? No, look.
You got your questions
I'm gonna
ready
show you.
for the?
No. You're really clean up, Tom.
We'll put Samir back on the.
Here, show
Put
him.
Samir back
Show
on the
him.
camera.
You want to?
So I was up at the Triple G
Do a
training
little
camp.
turn
They
here.
filmed for 3 days.
They talk to you. They talk to everybody in camp.
Talked to Jonathan Banks, to Harold Parker, the strength and
Oh,
conditioning
good.
coach.
Harold Parker's going to get
we've seen
some
him
camera
out,
time.
We've
yeah.
seen Harold out here with Triple G's wife.
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
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 And
Training.
and
And I thought Triple G's wife was like a former pro athlete or like a college standout.
very athletic. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had my daughters with me, and I told Josephine, watch how that lady does, and she was doing like 400s or 300s. So she was doing like a long sprint. I said, watch her form.
And you didn't
watch
know?
how I didn't know. Yeah, I thought like she she was like a high school standout or a collegiate runner or something.
This is Triple G.
Yeah,
And
which
they're
means
also-
their kids are going to be total badass.
His son is
Hockey
a
player.
great hockey player.
That's what I heard.
Great
I
hockey
heard that's
player.
his passion,
Plays
yeah.
for the Junior Kings. Yeah.
Really? That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very, and they go
Yeah.
to a lot of the hockey games.
Yeah,
together.
and he has a daughter now.
When he's
too,
not
right?
boxing in the ring, Triple G's a hockey dad.
He has a
Is
daughter
he
and a
hockey
son.
dad, huh?
Well, he's
Daughter
got
and a
3
son. So
kids.
2 sons, 1
3
daughter.
kids. Yeah.
2 sons and 1 daughter.
kids,
Yeah.
wow.
And then James Lockwood, they're doing a feature on him this morning. He's the chef that's preparing all
What's
the food
his
up there.
background?
Yeah.
He works with a lot of MMA fighters, which I didn't realize. A lot of UFC fighters, things like that. So he definitely
he's probably
is
famous.
for combat sports and
Yeah.
weight, getting your weight down and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
it seems like a good chemistry up there, and still up in Big Bear, California. They went up on the chairlifts yesterday.
The ski lifts?
The ski lifts,
Yeah.
yeah. So they filmed at the top of the mountains. So
Oh, that's cool.
It'll be a nice segment. Watch that on DAZN. I think that's premiering on Monday of Fight Week.
Yeah.
So June 8th,
That's
Fight
how they
Week.
do it.
I'll be there. We'll all be there. Triple G, if any of the fans that want to see him, his next live appearance is going to be at the Anthony Joshua fight. So he'll be at Madison Square Garden at the Anthony Joshua fight.
All right, I'll be there.
So
Are you gonna
for
be
all
there?
the fans that want to see that, I'll be there with him. And so it'll be exciting. It's going to be exciting. His return to Triple G. His Triple G's return to MSG.
Yeah, Triple G. And
Oh, that's good.
MSG, yeah.
Triple G
Well,
and
he's
MSG.
like the last bona fide draw at Madison Square
We're sold
Garden.
out at Madison Square Garden twice.
And he's the only guy since I've been covering boxing, he's the only non-Puerto Rican to be the guaranteed sell at Madison Square Garden.
Well, Canelo, in fairness, Canelo.
Well, that's
sold
true. He did.
out.
Canelo Alvarez
Canelo
sold
did
out.
well
Yeah,
against
that's
Rocky Fielding.
That's true.
So we're not always negative on
No.
Canelo.
I
actually
think
like Canelo.
Canelo
Just not
is
when he's fighting
as a
Triple
North
G.
American connection.
Hey, I like Canelo now.
Yeah.
He's really turned the corner.
Yeah.
He had a good performance against Danny Jacobs, and so he did his part to beat Danny Jacobs. And if Triple G beats Steve Rolls, then that opens the door to try to make a third fight. With
How realistic is that? I talked to you recently for a cover story.
I think that's the fight.
For Ring Magazine.
That's the fight that DAZN wants. That's the fight.
I mean,
that the
how
fans
quick could
want.
it come together? Like, let's say Triple G knocks out Steve Rolls in 1 round. He pulls a Deontay Wilder. Like, does suddenly, like, there's a dude sitting in a hoodie at ringside, and it's Canelo, and he, like, takes the hoodie off and goes in there, and they do a WWE style, like, after
It's not going to be like we
Chavez
did
Jr.
after Canelo beat
Right?
Chavez and Triple G went in the ring and
sure?
we announced the
Are you
next fight.
sure
It won't be
they're not
like
doing
that.
that?
But I wouldn't be surprised if we're able to make.
All right,
a
so
third
here's
fight.
what everyone has to notice, okay? Triple G Fight Week. Look to see if there's anybody from Golden Boy around there. Like if you see folks from Golden Boy around MSG and like the weigh-in and all, like wait,
we were
Robert
at the Canelo
Diaz,
fight.
what's he doing here? Wait, Eric Gomez? Wait a minute. Then, you know what I'm saying? They're like, okay.
We went to the Canelo fight. We went to
that's true.
Canelo, Danny Jacobs. Triple G was a little bit critical of the excitement level of that fight.
He was just keeping it real.
He's keeping it real. Plus, it also is a testament that whenever he gets in the ring, he always tries to push the action and make the fights exciting. He knocked down Danny Jacobs, pressed the action with him, and then with the Canelo fights, those were very exciting. The second one was more exciting than the first one. So if they do a third fight, look, the heavyweights can't seem to get it together. They can't.
And they're not.
Except when Fury fought Wilder, you got to give them credit for that fight. But for Triple G and Canelo, we did that fight twice already. If we can do a third fight, I think that's a huge
it's not
testament.
if we could do the third. It's a no-brainer.
It's a question of
when.
when.
Third fight.
It's still one of the biggest fights in the sport.
No,
of
but it's
boxing.
still. I mean, the zone's
most
not going to
marketable.
sign Triple G for all that money if the next fight isn't going to be the Canelo fight.
That's what I wrote.
I mean,
my
for
cover
sure,
story.
it's a no-brainer.
But I spoke to Demetrius Andrade and Callum Smith and Jaime Munguia and talked to them about, would you take it if you were offered the Alvarez fight? Of course they would. Of
course.
And they all have different things to say.
And they would all take the Triple G
Especially
fight now.
Andrade. Andrade's got a few
Unlike
things to say.
before, they would take the Triple G fight. Although I got to give Jaime Munguia credit.
Yeah.
He actually agreed
down,
to fight last year for Cinco de Mayo. The Nevada Commission didn't approve it, but I actually looked on BoxRec, and he's the #1 junior middleweight rated in the world.
Go figure.
On BoxRec, and he didn't get approved against.
He was Ring Magazine's
That's how
2017
fearsome-
Prospect of the Year.
That's how fearsome Triple G's promotion was.
Well,
his
that was lucky for
reputation
him, though.
was.
Yeah.
That they didn't let that.
He might
fight
not be a
go.
world champion right now, but you get a young guy like that gets a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
Even if you lose to a guy like Triple G, it's not a huge setback in your career, and you just kind
That's
of
his
build on
mentality,
it.
too. Like, he knows he'd be a huge underdog against Canelo Alvarez, but he says, hey,
So
I'm going to make for a great fight, and I'm going to learn.
So watch
That's
for
what he
us.
says. That's the
Watch for Triple G.
right idea.
Watch for Triple G June 1st at MSG at the Anthony Joshua fight, and then actually in the ring June 8th at Madison Square Garden.
And then
The
right
tickets-
after that, the announcement of the third fight. Positively, absolutely, such a no-brainer.
You think they could do it that quick?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have to do it.
Well, they don't have a
They're not-
whole lot of time to
they're
go
not-
back and forth.
Plus,
right.
with the ticket prices, Coach, you're a big believer in reasonable ticket prices, right?
Yeah.
We priced the tickets at $50 at Madison Square Garden
Yeah, that's smart.
for a Triple G fight at the Garden in New York City. It's
a great experience.
$50, $100 in the lower bowl, and
it's good.
it goes from there. So we want to make sure we get.
Now, I'm going to give you the other fight that's going to be announced, and that's going to be Fury and
Wilder, too?
Wilder.
I think
Fury.
I,
The
I,
news
heard,
is
I
that-
heard it's King Kong next. It's going to be Wild. It's going to be Wilder, Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, I wouldn't
too.
be surprised.
Wilder
Yeah.
just announced that the fight is not going to happen until 2020. I think this
I think
morning.
ESPN's
Yeah.
building up Fury
Yeah.
for his
Well,
market
no.
value.
I mean, listen. Wilder Fury 1 was made because Fury wasn't a star. Fury was this dude like, okay, he's a
was not
curiosity.
supposed to
He was a
win,
guy who ended his own hiatus from boxing, his own semi-retirement, got his act together, but nobody knew if he was still a top heavyweight. You know, he'd blown out two guys,
I have
and
a
it was like
question for
sparring
you.
sessions.
Doug,
So-
I have a question for you.
so that's why he got that fight, because Team Wilder's thinking like, hey, he's unbeaten, he's got a name, he's going to help promote this pay-per-view because he's a personality just like Deontay. And they were right, but what they were wrong about was this dude
he's
did get
good.
himself back to that
Right.
world-class level.
No, you gotta get-
but now that he's on that level, he wants to get that money
You
like
gotta
all
give-
these
You got to
heavyweights
give
do.
Fury a lot of credit. He was the first one to do what nobody could do during Vladimir's
Against Klitschko.
long reign, Vladimir Klitschko's historic championship reign, as he went to Germany and actually won the decision. But
And you were one of the few people who believed in him, Tom.
yeah, no, he's.
You were like,
Well, I didn't believe he was going to beat Vladimir, but you got to give him credit. He put
no,
on a
no.
great
I said you're one of the people who believed in him
against
going into the Wilder fight.
That's right, because
he proved it to
because
us.
of that experience against Vladimir and because of what he was able to do. I thought he would put on a good performance against Wilder. But a question I have for you is, do you think the sport is more splintered now than it was before? Remember Showtime and HBO, like they couldn't cross the line.
Fractured. Yes.
And then like Tyson Lewis took a long time to make. Pacquiao, Mayweather. At
I
that
think it's
time.
even in some ways it's even harder now.
Now you got
because-
3.
Yeah.
Now you got
The thing is you got ESPN investing so heavily
Right.
in a guy like Tyson Fury.
Yep.
They don't want him to fight on any other platform.
Right.
You got the
PBC that wants
are
Wilder exclusive.
dependent on
Yeah.
guys like Wilder and Errol Spence in order to fulfill their agreement with Fox Sports.
Right.
They've got to put on star fighters and pay-per-view events
And
'Cause-
Showtime.
and
'Cause,
Showtime.
Wilder fought on Showtime.
Right. And the big fights are going to be with the PBC these days. The really big ones are going to be pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view, right.
Right.
And
And
then-
so that's the model of Showtime and now
then
Fox.
DAZN
And DAZN is
has
a
their
different
own
model.
budget.
It's streaming, but
Yeah.
they're supposed to be anti-pay-per-view, and they've invested heavily in these
Right, a lot of
fighters.
money with Triple G.
So they don't want to
Canelo
cross
and
platforms.
Joshua.
They don't
Right,
want to
so-
let folks
So
do
it
it.
might be even more fractured.
So let me just
But
ask
but
you this.
great fighters with great character, they say F it. I'm doing it. I don't care. I don't care. Sue me.
Hey, what do you-
That's what Pernell
And they
Whitaker
should be
did to
able
fight
to,
Chavez.
even if a fighter has an exclusive contract, they should be able to for one
For one fight.
That was my whole argument with HBO. Is that for one fight, let us go there, let Triple G beat the guy,
And then we
we'll
come
be
back
on
with
HBO
like another belt
as a-
and with those
as a bigger-
accolades.
as
That's
a
the
bigger
thing.
fighter.
Like
Yeah.
if you're with
Right.
Team Wilder, let him do a 2 or 3 fight deal with DAZN. He might win. He might, he might knock out Joshua twice and be like the biggest
then all
star
of
in
a sudden,
boxing.
right.
And now he's back on your platform. It's like, go for it.
Well, there's
Sometimes you got to
But
give
that would
it.
make too much
analysis, but
sense.
this
That
needs to
makes
be
too much
more.
sense for the sport
No,
of
I know.
boxing.
It's,
So let me ask you this: who do you like in the Pacquiao?
No, that's a good point.
I'm riding with Keith Thurman.
Okay, so this is my. I've been thinking. I originally said
Lord.
I like Pacquiao.
Or you? I'm Larry Miller's friend.
Yeah,
remember?
of course.
Yeah, nice to see you.
How are you? I just got off the phone with Larry.
Uh,
He's in Jamaica.
We're gonna see him in Monte Carlo
Yeah.
next month. Yeah, how have you been?
Listen to this
I'm
jet
great. My
setter.
kids
Nice to
are
see
in
you.
fifth
We're
year.
gonna see him in Monte
Yeah,
Carlo.
Larry,
He says like,
I-
we're gonna see him
Yeah,
in
right.
Culver City.
You know, MJ's son got married this weekend. in
Monte
Jamaica.
Carlo.
Okay, so I'm going to give you my pick.
Okay.
Kids had so much
Originally,
fun.
I thought Pacquiao was going to win, but that's all with my
So
heart.
good to see
Because
you.
I love Pacquiao,
Yes,
and I like the other guy too. I
Good
like
to
Yeah.
see
Keith
you
Thurman.
too.
I'm one of the last people
Okay.
who still likes
Okay,
Keith Thurman.
but this is what I think. Thurman's definitely better. There's no doubt about it. And Pacquiao, I mean that's crazy that he's doing at that point now at 40 with all those fights.
But I think that Broner
So-
fight's a bit of a mirage, to be quite honest.
Well, but still,
and so
you
was
have
the Matisse fight a bit.
Well, it's how do you compare Broner and
But
Thurman?
you have to be pretty good.
I got Thurman ahead of Broner.
Yeah.
But for sure.
Yeah.
But you still have to be pretty good to
True.
fight, to beat Broner. So that's really.
Pacquiao's amazing.
That-
Fighting
that's
like
great.
this at 40
But this
with
is
his
how
style.
I see it.
I gotta cut off our stream, but
I know.
watch Doug's right now. He's gonna.
First
Dave
election.
has his his trivia questions.
Yeah. And I'll give you my pick on the Pacquiao fight.
In the
I'm
next,
not- I'm
in the
not
next
Periscope,
segment,
yeah.
next segment, he's gonna
Okay,
do it.
continue
can't
to add
be
Dougie
like-
Fisher.
At Dougie Fisher, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be the next.
There'll
stream
be a
we're gonna pick up.
notification on my Twitter feed.
Good. All right. We're
All
signing
right.
off. We'll see everyone in New York for the Triple G fight.